Hey, I'm on the edge of my seat here, back again with another brand new video, and today I will be no-damaging the DLC boss fights of Spider-Man Remastered. This covers 3 DLC packages, to my knowledge: the Heist DLC, the Turf Wars DLC, and the Silver Lining DLC. And here we have our first boss fight, which comes from the Heist DLC, and it is the only boss fight of the Heist DLC, though I do kind of struggle with calling this a boss fight. I mean, it's a chase, and a chase in Spider-Man terms can kind of be like a boss fight because he loves swinging, he loves like getting to places fast. So when an opponent challenges him in a chase, I'm just going to consider it a boss fight. But what I've come to realize from playing Spider-Man Remastered and also playing this DLC is that the game doesn't have any hard chases. Like, none of the main chases in the game are that challenging, and honestly, I think, first off, this is a continuation from my Spider-Man Remastered no damage video, where I no damage all the main boss fights, all the main story boss fights in that game, so watch that for more context. But yeah, I don't know, with the way the swinging works, like, I just don't think it could ever really be challenging with the main story boss fights, unless they, like, really push it. I don't know, it's just that, like, there was someone in my comment section that said, like, the swinging in this game is a bit automatic compared to the more manual swinging of some of the earlier games, and I have not played Web of Shadows yet. I really want to play that one, but I played Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man, and I kind of get that feeling, because, like, Ultimate Spider-Man could have some insanely tough chases, but a lot of the times why that chase is so tough is because you don't really have the abilities of, like, the swinging in this game, or it's not as, like, clean or as automatic as it is in this game. The way you can just immediately zip to places, you can't do that in the earlier games, so that already adds, like, an extra layer of challenge, and honestly, I'm not even sure if it's the layer of challenge that I want. But yeah, I'd actually like to bring up some things from the main campaign of Spider-Man, which may not be present here, but I wasn't able to mention it in my main story video, because I don't know, the strategy involved for doing this chase without taking damage is not very hard. It's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I'd like to talk about the stealth missions in Spider-Man Remastered. And honestly, this does also kind of apply to the DLC as well. I was just wondering, like, what if, in those, like, stealth challenges, what if you can, like, get rid of the bomb on the hostage and, like, save them instead of taking everyone out immediately? I don't know, it's because, like, sometimes I would be doing those missions and I come across the hostage and I'd be right in front of the hostage and none of the other enemies notice me right in front of the hostage. So I was just like, I could just, like, disarm the bomb and save them. But, I don't think that's really the point of the stealth challenges. It's not really a stealth challenge as it is a take everyone out stealthily challenge. You feel me? Like, they're not that open. And the stealth system in this game just isn't very challenging because you're Spider-Man. I don't know, it's kind of like the Arkham games, but instead of having gargoyles to zip to, you can just zip everywhere upstairs, Like, you can even zip to the ceiling because, you're Spider-Man. Why can't you? And it's like, you can. And it just kind of negates a lot of the challenge of the Batman stuff, because, like, they don't really play around with the stealth challenges that much. They kind of started to with the Screwball challenges. They added the things called motion detectors. Like, that kind of added a new element, but it still isn't that challenging. Like, I don't think the stealth challenges ever do something as insane as, say, I don't know, there was this one stealth moment in the main campaign of Arkham Asylum where they added C4s to the gargoyles, so once you stepped on the gargoyle, it just blew up. So after a certain amount of time, you ran out of gargoyles to, like, retreat to. You actually had to, like, sneak around the place. Like, that was pretty insane. This game never does anything like that. Also, I will be using the Iron Spider suit for this entire video, the OG Iron Spider suit, not the MCU one. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. I just love the strong, bold colors of, like, red and yellow, and yeah, it does kind of look like McDonald's, but ignore that. I love the colors of it. I'm not sure if I really love this version of the suit though, but you know what, it looks cool enough for me that I decided to do the entire video with it. This is also a reason why I split the videos into 2 separate videos. The main story and the DLC is that the main story I wanted the Sam Raimi suit, but for the DLC video I really wanted this Iron Spider suit. But the one annoying thing about the Iron Spider suit is that you have to beat the Turf Wars campaign in order to get it. This boss fight is the only boss fight in the Turf Wars campaign, and in order to unlock the Iron Spider suit, you have to beat the Turf Wars campaign. So you beat the Turf Wars campaign, then you have to do New Game Plus to redo the entire Turf Wars campaign again, but this time I have the Iron Spider suit in order to fight this guy. So just a lot of tedium for one suit, and it's just like, man. Also, another cool thing about the Iron Spider suit, this OG Iron Spider suit, is that your power up the spider arms, this is the only suit that changes the color of said spider arms, which is cool but also disappointing because every single other Spider-Man suit, you just have the spider arm colors from like the MCU's Iron Spider suit, and I just find that a little disappointing because it's like, what if like Spider Noir had like black and white claws like stretching out of his back? That would have been so cool. Or like Spider-Man 20, I forgot the year. What if he had blue arms or like red arms like exploding out of his back? You know, the same way this Iron Spider has gold arms exploding out of his back. And that's another thing. I love the gold arms. I don't really like the arms which the MCU's Iron Spider suit has. It's kind of like a multicolored thing with like red and like certain like aspects of yellow, but on just straight up gold. I love that. So for this boss fight, there is something going on here, and I'm going to be using the Iron Spider suit to dominate this first phase. And pretty much, I'm using the impact webs after he's like, I do 2 combos on him, and after 2 combos, I use the impact webs to web him up again, which allows me to do 2 more combos, and then boom, we're done with the first phase, and now we have to move on to the second phase. It's like, that's solid gold. I love that. But yeah, I start the fight off. Also, by the way, I have a mod installed. I have a suit mod which slows down time after every perfect dodge, and I greatly underutilized mods in my main story campaign video because I didn't know how useful they could be, because that slow down time power, it doesn't just make it easier to dodge, it gives you the ability to do a full combo without stunning the enemy, because, you know, you're just in slow motion, so you can just do a full combo like that, and it just makes it a lot easier to just straight up like combo enemies like that. And here I decided to do a little bit of swinging, you know, kind of take care of some of the enemies around, you know, the area, and also just kind of replenish some of my gadgets so I can continue comboing Hammerhead here. And also I'm just swinging around because in the arena somewhere, I'm not exactly sure where in the arena, there's one of those like Sable guns which can fire on you, and it's one of those Sable guns which you can just jump and like rip out of its place and like and throw it at enemies. But I don't think I ever encountered that Sable gun here, but it does exist in this boss fight because I took damage from it when I was like redoing this boss fight over and over again. Also, if you see, like, you know, there's moments in this video where I'll be showing a cutscene from like the game, you know, like an intro cutscene to the boss fight, and then there'll be like a fade to black and it'll cut to the fight, and that's because I restarted from a last checkpoint when doing the fight over again. So I hope that makes sense what I'm saying there. And by the way, this like little heat action you can do, I love that. It looks so cool. It's like freaking, it's got so much dynamic swinging and motion around. Just really love how that looks and how that flows. So now let me mention something from the main story of Spider-Man. So when you're tracking the Devil's Breath, there's a point where you're following like this really cool red and blue trail, and like just the red and blue particles of that trail when you're following, like, you know, the Devil's Breath. I think it's awesome, and I just never got the chance to mention that in my original video. Also, this is something which applies to the main story and the DLC, but there comes a point where the city's just kind of hostile towards you, and sometimes a rocket launcher will like lock onto you, but if you're swinging really fast, then the rocket will never fire. But that lock-on will stay on you for a really long time, and the beeping just does not go away. And just, I think that's really dumb, and I don't like that, because it's just like, if the rocket isn't gonna fire, get rid of that lock-on immediately, because it's just unnecessary stress to hear that beeping, and you're like, come on, just stop it, stop it. I think I'm done mentioning stuff from like the main story of Spider-Man. Now I'm gonna talk about the DLCs from here on outwards. And something I really want to mention is I'm probably going to use that for a thumbnail, that part where Spider-Man shot his web. I'm probably going to use that for the thumbnail of my commentary video. I mean, if it's going to be the thumbnail of my commentary video, then you will already see it, but I just wanted to mention it right now in the future. Yeah. So, for this video, for my previous video, my main story video, there's like 3 performance settings for this game. There's original, there's performance, and then there's performance with ray tracing. For my main story video, I used performance, but for this video, I will be using performance with ray tracing. The reason I didn't use it before is that I was worried the resolution was gonna get really bad. But you know what? I think I prefer ray tracing over some iffy resolution here and there. So, you know, y'all let me know which one looks better. It's probably the ray tracing one. And hey, it still runs at 60 FPS, like really fluidly. So that's what I'm really here for. I'm here for that smooth 60 FPS experience. You know, that's why I'm playing the remastered version, despite the new face, which is a little awkward in this game, but I hear is much better in the Miles Morales game with the way, you know, the lip syncing works and all that. I'll get to Miles Morales sometime in the future. Don't expect it soon. And yeah. Also, an annoying thing about the DLCs, I hope I'm able to mention what I don't like about the DLCs before I get to talking about this boss fight, but you know how those like normal crimes you can solve in the main story, and how sometimes those normal crimes would have multiple objectives, which if you complete those set objectives, you'll get more crime tokens. Well, those multiple objectives are just gone in all the crimes in the DLCs, which is like, what this means is that every single crime you solve only gives you one crime token. It makes grinding for those things so much more irritating in the DLC. Anyways, this boss fight, I'm going to destroy her, so jump up, web her. Make sure she's webbed. If she's completely webbed, you can do a full combo. Then you can do 1, 2, 3, jump off her, hit her with electricity. If she's hit with electricity, you can do 1, 2, 3, and then boom, activate my Ghost Rider powers. Try to web her up, and if she blocks your shield powers, just use the impact webs, because only 2 hits will complete web her. If she's completely webbed, full combo, jump down, 1, 2, 3, jump up, complete web her, then full combo, and then after that, jump up, and then you go 1, 2, 3, and I've run out of ways to stun her, and then boom, we're just gonna go from here, and then perfect dodge, and since I have the slowdown ability, I can do a full combo turn, and then move. The fight's done! Like, I mean, this fight's really irritating because you can just counter most of the things you do, but also, if you, like, get her with the right setup, she's done. She is dead. Like, I mean, she's not dead. I mean, I don't even think she took much damage from that. She just kind of quit the fight after things got inconvenient, but it's just like, I completely annihilated that boss fight. I wish she had, like, more going on, but if she had more going on, then I probably wouldn't have been able to just infinite her like that. Like, that was insane. What an insane fight. That was like a 30-second knockdown. 30-second KO right there. Insanity, I tell you. Insanity.
What happened to you can thank me for not dying?
Man. So here is Screwball, and I have issues, but these issues with Screwball depend on 2 things which I don't know that much about, and those 2 things are comic books and the writers which write the modern Ratchet and Clank games, because man, she is not funny. And I don't know whether to blame this on just her character in the comics or on the writers of Ratchet and Clank who wrote jokes like, "You're not helping the economy by hoarding all those bolts. Come and buy a pixelizer." Because this character feels like a bastardization of those 2 things combined. But I don't know enough about the modern Ratchet and Clank games besides the cringy jokes, and enough about the comics besides that this character exists in them and is a streamer. Because it's not funny. There's not much beyond that, but she does offer one of the more engaging races, though it's not that hard, and honestly it feels a little bit arbitrary, because like, look, I am right next to this character, why can't I capture them? Because it's like, you just have to do like all their photo bombs, and it's just like, but like once you do a certain amount of photo bombs, then you can catch her, but it's like, I'm literally right there, what's the point? It's like, like, that's a bomb, you want to get all the bombs so that they don't blow people up, but like, you don't even have like a set knowledge of how many bombs there's gonna be, so it's just weird, you know? It's just like, There was something else I wanted to say. I kept saying that the races aren't challenging, but this game does have a sort of challenge with certain races. Like, there was those drone missions in the main story of this game where you have to like go through certain blue circles, and you can be ranked on those missions. And I mean, I keep saying these races aren't challenging, but I also have not gotten the best ranking in those races with like the blue circles and the drones and all that. So, you know, maybe I just need to get good. Because when I was looking at the achievements for this game, I saw that in order to 100% this game, you do need to get a certain rank on all of her challenges, including the races. But I also saw that one of those rankings is to get Spectacular and Beyond. So I'm assuming there's a better ranking than just Spectacular. I'm assuming it's Ultimate. That's probably like the best ranking. And yeah, I have not gotten Ultimate on all those races. So, you know, once I get the Ultimate on all those races, then I'll talk about how these races aren't challenging. But even then, I don't think they're going to be as challenging as some of the stuff in Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's not like I want it to be as challenging as Ultimate Spider-Man. I just want there to be just more catharsis to it. Because like right now, it just kind of feels like the game's playing itself. So it's just like, anyways, this boss fight is pretty annoying because it could just take a while. And also, you can't really do much to this guy. I don't know. It's just like, in order to like a boss fight to be epic or like final, or to be like, you know, the super epic final boss, they just restrict your combo option. I just don't like that. It's just like, oh, in order for a final boss to be epic, we have to make it so you can't juggle him. So it's just like, ugh. But there is a lot going on in this fight, and honestly, I'm kind of at a conflict on whether I consider this fight better or worse than the Doc Ock fight. I mean, in terms of story and, like, you know, catharsis, it's definitely worse. But I was just thinking that, like, in this fight, I feel more involved, like, 100% of the time. But there is one thing which the Doc Ock fight has over this fight, and it's that it actually forces you to, like, not touch the ground sometimes. That's a really neat thing, considering Spider-Man's skill set, you know. Like, you know, for a character who can swing around, I just wish more boss fights would utilize the fact that you can swing around, you know, make the floor dangerous to touch. And like the Doc Ock fight is like one of the only times the game really does that to like a big effect. I mean, here I'm gonna start swinging just because to make the fight look cool, but you don't really need to like swing around like I'm gonna swing around in the next 5 or 10 seconds. Also, something else to keep in mind about this fight is that the iron arms are completely useless against this guy. Like if you like pull out your little iron arms or like spider arms and try to hit his leg when he's weak, it literally won't hit him at all. There will be 0 damage done to him, and I just think that's really dumb and silly, and I don't like it. So yeah, now you have to, I mean, I swung around for a bit, but make sure that you're not swinging around with the bombs drop down, because you really want to throw a bomb at this guy. And yeah, also, I'm gonna like be doing a nice little combo on his legs here, where it's kind of, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, jump, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another hit, and that'll stun him for like a big laser attack. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And then once he's weak like that, it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then that's it. That's all you can really do with that guy, and that's it. And unless you have like a heat action to do on him. And yeah, there's enemies around the field. That attack is super dangerous, because I'll just swing. It's like one of the most dangerous things that can happen when you're swinging around, because you'll be swinging around and suddenly you'll come into contact with that thing, and it's so annoying. Also, another annoying attack this guy does, maybe he'll do it soon, I'm not sure if he's going to do it now, he's definitely going to do it at one point in this fight. And yeah, one of the abilities I have equipped is the recharge, the resupply ability, which you get from beating Doc Ock. And that ability is really good for webbing people up, because like one of the only ways to make this guy weak is to web him up, so you really want to make sure that your other like super fast like web items can be refilled, like the web bombs, you know, the impact webs, and maybe there's some other uses for some of the other weapons. I mean, I don't know how an electrical shock would work. I don't think that's going to do much against them, but yeah. And yeah, sometimes the slow-mo ability is really useful, but sometimes it's a little bit too slow-mo, because you'll dodge a laser, and then like, you know, you'll think you're good because you dodged the laser, but if you get careless, since you're in slow-mo, that laser is still out, you might accidentally come in contact with a laser. That laser attack is really annoying because you can't just dodge it normally. You can't just press like, you know, circle to dodge it. You actually have to swing away from it. You have to get like a motion with some actual momentum behind it in order to dodge that laser attack. So he has this laser attack, which is just a straight laser at you, and once you avoid it, you're good. But then he has a moving laser attack where if you dodge it, he'll just move it to your position unless you move out of the way by swinging away. So, you know, you have to watch out for that attack. It's a really dangerous, really nasty attack, and I just don't like it because I've been hit by it way too many times. And this animation is really cool. The other animation is also really cool. But what I don't like about that animation is that once you do it, then you can't do any more combos on that guy. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell if I'm really dealing big damage with those big cinematic attacks. I mean, like, they are, and like I almost got hit there, but thankfully the laser went away at just the right moment, and that's crazy. And also, you can do some really insane things by just dodging in the air and then throwing, like, you know, stuff at the enemies. You can keep that going for a really long time. Like, I was able to keep that going in certain fights for like 30 or 30 seconds, and you could go longer, really, with like right positioning and all that. I mean, it's one of the ways I was able to take out shockers so effectively, and I think the fight's kind of over here. Like, I mean, the DLC story is alright. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like to focus on the Mafia. I don't know much about Hammerhead in the comics, but I did just recently learn that he appears in Spectacular Spider-Man, which I have not seen, but that has been recently added to Netflix, and it is a show which I want to see, but I haven't seen yet. And yeah, I don't really have anything much more to say here. I mean, yeah, that's my video. I have finally completed all the boss fights in Spider-Man Remastered. I kind of did want to make it one big video, but I don't know. Like, I mean, it was just taking too long, and I kind of wanted to have the different suits and different videos, and that's the one, like, bad thing about, you know, these no damage videos being shorter, is that at a certain point, it does kind of feel like I've run my course with what I want to say. But yeah, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you all then for my next video, whether it be Spider-Man Miles Morales or something else entirely. I will see you all then.
That was fun. Hey, you have dinner plans? I know this great pizza place.
I must return to Simcaria.
Right. You have a war to fight.
I do not like to fight. Do what I have to in order to help my people.
I know. That's what heroes do.
I am no hero. But you have taught me a few things.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Like how to disarm my enemies with bad jokes.
actually they're good jokes, but I understand humor can be subjective.
Thank you, Spider-Man. For everything. I don't do hugs.
Yeah, right. Of course. Hey, can I get a lift back to the city? I'd swim, but it'd take forever to get the river smell out of my suit.